At one point, you were pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage.
Okay, this is before the whole
This
takeover.
is like
Okay.
before all of that. I'm on this pedestal, and like I'm not. I'm a human being. I'm like a regular woman. I have desires. I have needs.
But for some reason, you took an unprecedented stand to fight for this marriage. I mean, to fight for it and to put it all out there. What is it about this marriage that's so special that you would fight this hard to save it?
Well, it's my soulmate. It's the person I love.
What Beyoncé did to Carmen Bryan after the affair with Jay-Z went public was quietly brutal. Carmen Bryan exposed her affair with Jay, and Beyoncé never said a word. But after Carmen spoke out, something changed. Jay-Z dropped Supa Ugly.
Supa Ugly.
Beyoncé referenced the drama in her Flawless remix, and even Solange physically attacked Jay in an elevator just years later.
Jay-Z and Beyoncé Knowles Carter, the almost royalty power couple of hip-hop and R&B, set tongues wagging across the world because of this incident.
So did Beyoncé silently retaliate against the woman who almost ruined everything? Here's what happened. Back in 2001, Jay-Z dropped a track called The Takeover as part of his Blueprint campaign. This song, which kicked off his highly praised album, put his ongoing beef with Nas out in the open. Without saying any names directly, Jay-Z hinted in his lyrics that he had been romantically involved with a woman who was important to Nas. That woman turned out to be Carmen Bryan. She's the mother of Nas' daughter, Destiny, and now she's an author. Carmen Bryan sat down with DJ Vlad and broke down her past relationship with the rapper and her decision to cheat on him with Jay-Z. The problem was who I was cheating with, she said. Now, had I been cheating with like some nobody who just wants to play Nintendo all day and smoke cigarettes in front of the TV, that may not have been a problem. Okay, like Carmen, we can get through that. We can get past that. But I was cheating with individuals that were in the same genre of music, the same circles, the same company, but I didn't look at it as if I was doing anything wrong. I felt like this is my circle too. These are my peers too. Like I'm in the box too. Remember the single, Is That Your Chick? That was the beginning of one of the biggest battles of all time. She then broke down her time with Hova.
I had a relationship with Jay-Z, but the thing about Jay-Z and I, we were friends before anything. That was my best friend before we became intimate.
Carmen went on to reveal that her affair with Jay-Z led to her being pregnant.
At one point, you were pregnant by Jay?
Yes, I had a miscarriage. I believe I was definitely less than 3 months. It was the first trimester.
According to Carmen, her affair with Jay-Z is what started the entire rivalry between him and Nas. In fact, Jay-Z released Takeover, which seemed to hint at his affair with Carmen.
Jay-Z is a very subliminal type, you know what I mean? He throws little, and once I realized what Jay was doing, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow him to belittle Nas anymore.
Following this, Nas released Ether, which was sort of a response to Jay-Z's diss track, Takeover. At the time, Carmen believed Nas wanted her around during this beef to show he still had her support, even though they weren't together romantically anymore. Carmen told Vlad TV that she was in the kitchen with Nas and the Bravehearts when Funkmaster Flex played Ether, the response to Takeover. In a revealing interview with Vlad, Carmen speaks about an issue that called her reputation into question.
I didn't hear it before it dropped. I heard it on the radio like everybody else. Nas and I heard it in the kitchen together on the radio.
She then went on to add, I feel like he needed me to be there in lieu of this battle, in lieu of this beef. It was like, well, I still got the girl, and she's over here with me. I'm about to drop this song and dead everything. That was the plan, and it worked. At that time, the beef between the two multi-platinum New York City MCs appeared to mirror Tupac Shakur's claim that he had intercourse with Faith Evans. the estranged wife of rival Biggie Smalls. Bryan also contended that Ether was a revealing showcase of Nas' personality that is often misread by his deadpan expressions. While Nas did not address his one-time romantic partner in his response to Jay, he accused his rival of an intimate relationship with Foxy Brown, who had previously been a bandmate of Nas in the firm. Jay-Z would respond to Ether with Supa Ugly. In that song, Jay's accusations were not so subliminal. Snatching Nas' Got Herself A instrumental, he rapped, "Me and the boy AI got more in common than just bawling and rhyming. Get it? More in Carmen. I came in your Bentley back seat, skeeted in your Jeep, left condoms on your baby seat." Almost 16 years later in 2017, Carmen reacted. That was such an emotional reaction. Number 2, my daughter Destiny Jones was like 8-9 years old when Supa Ugly came out. So what car seat is she sitting in at 9-10 years old? Jay-Z's never been in any of our vehicles. That was him just grasping at things and just trying to make an instant comeback. But even the next day, when he got on the radio station Hot 97, he was disheveled. He sounded like he was about to cry. He wasn't sure where he was going with the story. His mother called and made him apologize. Supa Ugly was not a well-thought-out plan, and I believe in hindsight that he regretted ever dropping that. In fact, I know for a fact that he regretted dropping it, because we have a mutual friend who told me that he said that. She further added, it was an emotion reaction to an ass-whoopin'. In 2017, Carmen Bryan urged a more matured Jay-Z to look at history with empathy. And you know what's crazy about that? Now, Jay's has a daughter, and social media is a beast. Back then, when he made these disparaging remarks and comments about my daughter and created this disgusting visual, there were so many people around him that stayed quiet. They said absolutely nothing. Sometimes when you don't pick a side, you pick a side. I'm a totally different person. Had Nas said something like that about their child, all hell would have broke loose. I would not, as a woman, have stood by any man who disrespects children and drags them into adult affairs. While it may seem hard to believe now, 2 of New York's biggest rappers were embroiled in a heated feud for years in the late 90s and early 2000s, with jabs exchanged as recently as 2018. If you thought the beef between Pusha T and Drake was messy, you haven't seen anything yet. Jay-Z's mother, Gloria Carter, even had to step in at one point. It all started back in 1996, when Nas reportedly failed to show up for a recording session for Jay-Z's track Bring It On from his debut album, Reasonable Doubt. The album was released later that year, and in the absence of Nas, producer Ski Beats sampled Nas' line from The World Is Yours on another song, Dead Presidents 2. Nas' second album, It Was Written, arrived a month later. Its opening track, The Message, includes what many perceived as a shot at Jay-Z with the line, "Lex with TV sets the minimum." What does a Lexus with a TV inside have to do with anything? Well, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt included many references to the luxury car. On Can I Live, he likened his mind to a Lexus. My mind is infested with sick thoughts that circle like a Lexus. And the music video for Dead Presidents 2 features a Lexus GS. Nas later explained, I saw Jay-Z driving a Lexus with the TVs in them. I got rid of my Lexus at that point and was looking for the next best thing. It wasn't a shot at Jay, but it was just saying that's the minimum you gotta have. It's not a shot at him, but he inspired that line. It wasn't necessarily a shot at him, but because the song was a shot at everybody, he fell into that. But he definitely inspired that line. In 1997, Jay-Z used Nas' voice again in his song Rap Game, Crack Game, another subtle nod to the competition between them. But things started to shift when Jay dropped a line in Where I'm From that felt more like a challenge. I'm from where ends pull your card and argue all day about who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. A few months later, Biggie tragically passed away, and Jay-Z wasted no time claiming the New York rap throne with his track The City Is Mine. Around that time, Jay-Z's protege, Memphis Bleek, seemed to step into the beef too. His debut single, Memphis Bleek Is, sounded a lot like Nas' track, Nas Is Like, and people noticed. But Bleek's song, What You Think of That, made things clearer. He rapped, "My whole team rocks. We don't speak to cats. I'm a ball till I fall. What you think of that?" It didn't name Nas directly, but the energy was definitely aimed at someone. Nas clapped back with his song, Nostradamus, throwing Bleek's line right back at him. "You want a ball till you fall? I can help you with that." The back and forth kept growing. Bleek fired off a more obvious diss with My Mind Right, taking shots at Nas' album It Was Written and questioning his street rep. "Your lifestyle's written, so who you supposed to be? Play your position." He even suggested Nas talked tough but wasn't about that life. "You ain't hyped to die, but you hyped to shoot." Nas returned fire in a song that would later become the intro to his Stillmatic album. He called out Jay-Z, Bleek, and Beanie Siegel in one verse. "Rip the freeway, shoot through Memphis with money bags, stop in Philly, order cheesesteaks, and eat beans fast." Then he threw a sarcastic shot at Jay-Z with, "Is he H to the Izzo, M to the Izzo?" Things hit a boiling point when Jay-Z performed at Hot 97's Summer Jam. He freestyled shots at both Prodigy from Mobb Deep and Nas. The moment shocked the crowd. That freestyle turned into Takeover, which appeared on his 2001 album, The Blueprint. And it was brutal. The beat was produced by Kanye West, and Jay used it to tear into Nas. He called him washed up, said he only had one good album every 10 years, and even questioned his credibility in the streets. After that, a lot of fans thought Nas' career was finished. But he wasn't about to let Jay-Z win like that. Later in 2001, Nas came back with Ether on his Stillmatic album. A diss so strong, it instantly flipped the script and became one of the most legendary comeback tracks in rap history.
Brace yourself for the main event. Y'all impatiently waiting.
In December of 2001, Stillmatic was released. The track Ether put to rest all of that beef between him and Jay and basically set the story straight.
Nas came back at him and he spoke his mind.
Nas responded to Jay-Z's claims of being has been by reminding him he's been in the rap game much longer. "I got this, locked since 9/1. I am the truest. Name a rapper that I ain't influenced." Nas didn't hold back. He straight up questioned Jay-Z's street credibility and claimed he stole his style. He said, "Back in '88, you were getting chased to your building, calling my place for help. And I never even gave you my number. I just gave you a style to copy." Then he went even deeper, saying Jay had sold out. "You act all emotional like some dude with issues. And what's crazy is, I loved you like a brother. But you gave up your soul just to get rich." Nas also went personal. He called Jay-Z ugly, accused him of being disrespectful to women, and even threw in some offensive slurs. He hinted that Jay might have messed around with Foxy Brown and brought up how Eminem supposedly out-rapped Jay on their track Renegade. According to Nas, even Biggie's flow was something Jay borrowed. This beef sparked a big moment in hip-hop. It helped Nas release The Lost Tapes and then God's Son, which many fans felt proved he was still one of the best rappers in New York. Takeover shook people up, but when Ether dropped, it hit way harder. Jay-Z didn't just sit back and take it though. He clapped back with a track called Supa Ugly, using parts of Nas's own song Got Yourself A, along with Dr. Dre's Bad Intentions. Jay had his own jabs, but the most shocking part was when he claimed he'd been sleeping with Nas's girlfriend Carmen Bryan for 3 years. That line didn't sit well with everyone, not even Jay-Z's own mom. Gloria Carter actually called into Hot 97 and told him to apologize to Nas and his family. Jay called in too, saying sorry to his mom and any women who felt disrespected by his lyrics. In New York, things were intense. Radio stations like Hot 97 played both Ether and Supa Ugly back to back and even asked listeners to vote on which one hit harder. About 58% of people picked Ether as the winner. Since then, Ether has become one of the most legendary diss tracks in hip-hop. Rappers have copied the style for their own battles, like when Remy Ma dropped Shether to go at Nicki Minaj. Even the word ether has become slang, meaning to completely destroy someone in a rap beef. The beef continued to sizzle, and Jay-Z attacked Nas again on the title track of his Blueprint 2 album, claiming he's more generous than him, once again questioning his street cred, and even references his Supa Ugly apology, encouraged by his mother. "My mama can't save you this time," and is history. After Nas's response on the Last Real N Alive, where he compared the beef between he and Jay-Z to Scarface and suggested HOV is nothing more than a footnote in the history of New York hip-hop. The two basically had a ceasefire, with only minor shots being fired and Jay, temporarily, retiring with the Black Album. 4 years after Ether, Nas and Jay-Z decided to end their beef in front of a sold-out crowd at the Continental Airlines Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey, during Jay-Z's I Declare War tour in October 2005. Many fans thought that the tour would see HOV coming for his hip-hop enemies, but instead, he decided to reconcile with Nas on stage. The two performed Dead Presidents and The World Is Yours, with Jay-Z declaring, "All that beef is done. We had our fun," he said. "Let's get this money." A year later, Nas ended his deal with Columbia Records and signed with Def Jam, now headed by Jay-Z.
Me coming over to Def Jam is, I'm bringing something to the table. I'm equivalent to 20 of these artists.
Shortly after, they officially teamed up for the first time on Black Republican, off Nas Hip Hop Is Dead. Although some people on the internet thought that Jay-Z was trying to reheat the early millennium beef by dropping his album with Beyoncé the day after Nasir. Whether that was intentional or not, the beef is now firmly behind them, and we've got a new collaboration to prove it.
It's bigger than both of us because it's not really about us. I mean, it is, but it really isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's more so about the culture, and also about the ending, and also about showing people another way.
In any case, many fans argue that Jay-Z did not just get intimate with Carmen Bryan just to get back at Nas, but just because that's who he is. In fact, there have been rumors for years about how Solange is probably not Jay-Z's biggest fan.
I used to have Nas on my nails, the whole thing. Nas knew I was a fanatic. I met him. I started bawling.
The streets have been saying for years that she isn't exactly the biggest fan of Beyoncé's relationship and marriage to Jay-Z because she just doesn't like him. You see, an altercation between Solange and Jay happened on May 5, 2014, at the Met Gala after party at the Standard Hotel in New York City. It gained widespread attention when security footage from an elevator was leaked to the media. In the video, Solange Knowles, the younger sister of Beyoncé, could be seen physically attacking Jay-Z, while Beyoncé initially stood by without intervening. The footage showed Solange kicking and punching Jay-Z with a security guard attempting to restrain her. Beyoncé eventually stepped in, putting herself between Solange and Jay-Z. 10 days after the incident, the trio released a joint statement addressing the drama. As a result of the public release of the elevator security footage from Monday, May 5th, there has been a great deal of speculation about what triggered the unfortunate incident. But the most important thing is that our family has worked through it, they said in a statement to the Associated Press. Jay and Solange each assume their share of responsibility for what has occurred. They both acknowledge their role in this private matter that has played out in the public. They both have apologized to each other, and we have moved forward as a united family. The statement continued. The reports of Solange being intoxicated or displaying erratic behavior throughout that evening are simply false. At the end of the day, families have problems, and we're no different. We love each other, and above all, we are family. We've put this behind us and hope everyone else will do the same. 2 months later, Solange cleared the air about the altercation with Lucky magazine. "What's important is that my family and I are all good," the singer said. "What we had to say collectively was in the statement that we put out, and we all feel at peace with that." Beyoncé kept talk of the incident alive in August 2014 when she debuted a remix of her song Flawless that seemed to reference the famous elevator brawl. Following his wife's footsteps, Jay-Z appeared to call out the famous footage in his song Kill Jay-Z off his 2017 album 444. He raps, "You egged Solange on, knowing all along. All you had to say you was wrong. But you gotta do better, boy. You owe it to Blue. You had no father, you had the armor. But you got a daughter, gotta get softer." Well, another reason why Jay-Z may not be liked by Solange is purportedly due to his alleged controlling behavior towards Beyoncé. Jay-Z and Beyoncé are arguably the Hollywood power couple, but that doesn't mean their relationship was without its complexities. Despite their combined fortune of nearly $2 billion, a luxurious home, and the admiration of their peers, the dynamics of their marriage presented a different story. For those unfamiliar with Beyoncé and Jay-Z's journey as a couple, they have consistently faced scrutiny for the unconventional aspects of their relationship. For example, they first met when Beyoncé was just a teenager while Jay-Z was in his 30s.
Hi, my name is Beyoncé. Beyoncé Giselle knows, and I'm 16 years old. I just turned 16 about 4 or 5.
Reflecting on those early days, Beyoncé once shared in an interview, "I was 18 when we first met, 19 when we started dating. There was no rush. No one expected me to run off and get married." The couple officially began dating when Beyoncé was 19 and Jay-Z was 31, sparking concerns among fans, with some speculating about the possibility of Beyoncé being you-know-what by Jay-Z. Setting aside the age gap, observers have also raised eyebrows about the uneven power dynamics right from the beginning. When Beyoncé and Jay-Z embarked on their romance, Beyoncé was already quite popular. But Jay-Z was an industry heavyweight with significantly more clout and influence than she had at the time. This, coupled with their age difference, led to doubts and conversations about how imbalanced the relationship might have been from the start. However, over the years, the playing field has somewhat leveled out because Beyoncé has become the biggest artist in Hollywood. She's literally the most decorated artist ever and holds the Grammy record as the most awarded person in the history of the awards. But even with this, fans still feel a certain way about the marriage. So, Jay-Z has faced criticism, with some labeling him as a. Then there's also the fact that Jay-Z was Beyoncé's first real relationship. She has opened up about how she didn't have the typical childhood or teenage years because she was super focused on her career.
Just focus on what you're trying to do, and I promise you, you're gonna get it. If you work hard at it and you keep God first.
She said, "My teenage years were about the grind. I grew up hearing this particular scripture from James 2:17, faith without work is dead. Vision and intention weren't enough. I had to put in the work. I committed to always being a student and always being open to growth. My energy went into Destiny's Child and the dream of us getting a record deal and becoming musicians. If something wasn't helping me reach my goal, I decided to invest no time in it. I didn't feel like I had time to kiki or hang out. I sacrificed a lot of things and ran from any possible distraction." Beyoncé wasn't just 12 years younger than Jay-Z, but she was also pretty inexperienced when it came to relationships, adding an extra layer of sketchiness. As time passed, speculation started about whether she felt confined in the marriage, especially now that she's older and had more experience. Some insiders claim it's not just a feeling. Beyoncé is genuinely trapped. According to sources, Jay-Z holds complete control over every aspect of her life, leaving her with little room to live on her own terms. Multiple people have recently come forward to expose Jay-Z's control and manipulation of Beyoncé. In addition to all this, a former bodyguard of Beyoncé once revealed that Jay allegedly got her hooked on substances. The former bodyguard also alleged that Beyoncé and Jay-Z's marriage is not real and that it is just a contract to help them reach the top. Okay, now, if it was just Uncle Ron making the allegations that Beyoncé has been on, then maybe I would say that there's a great chance that he's not telling the truth. But the thing is, he's not the only one who said it.
Right now, y'all talking about free Britney. Y'all need to be doing a campaign that say free Beyonce.
Beyonce is free.
She is a prisoner in a gilded cage.
And just look at this video of Beyoncé, which feels off to most fans.
Why did God give me this life? Sometimes it's overwhelming.
So far, however, there's no solid evidence to suggest that Bey is on anything. But people have also been suggesting that the only way Beyoncé is still in the marriage is because she's on, and that the marriage is fake. Given all these circumstances, it might seem puzzling why Beyoncé would still stick around. But then again, we probably don't know what happens behind closed doors. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye!